Hello everyone here. It's very nice to see you again on Yi-Ling Lin's online class. Luckily, I believe you already finished purchasing part 1 and we are continuing to through purchasing part 2 later on. Of course, let's just quickly review part 1 and go into part 2 soon. Alright, just quickly review the purchasing part ones. What we have done is we define the purchasing, what purchasing is, and give you the responsibility of purchasing. And also there's 5 factors to make your purchasing decisions. And then we think about the purchasing methods and also the focusing with the calculations, how how much or how amount of the raw material or raw ingredients we should purchase. And then we compare with the individual restaurants and also the franchise restaurants, and then we talk the pro and con with the centralized purchasing. Shall we start from purchasing part 2? We still stick on the second step of the purchasing. It's quite huge areas. That's why we will spend a little bit more time. We will have the part 3 later on. Well, today's learning objective is purchasing price quotes. We just know the purchasing decisions. Then we know the methods, how they purchase. Then we need to know how to get the quote from the suppliers and vendors, and what kind of ways, and what other facts as well. And we will try to give you some ordering guidance. Okay, what kind of food, what kind of raw ingredients you need to choose. So there's some of the rule to obey. And then it's quite important, which is how to make the production specifications. Especially we will follow from the meat, seafood, vegetable, fruit, and extra. But in today's lessons, I think we just finish the introduce and knowing these ingredients from the meat and seafood. Alright, shall we start it? Well, we get through the purchasing decisions for 5 factors, and there still have other factors influence purchasing decisions. And there are 3. First one is budget food cost goal. Yes, any of the restaurants they are making business, so profits is the main point for them to run their business. So budget food is very necessary. And most of the restaurants, especially like small or medium restaurant, the average cost for the food or beverage would get all of their uh, cost for counted for occupied for 30 percentage. It's up down 30 percentage, sometimes it's 25 percentage or maybe 35 percentage. So it's the range is theirs. And then the second factors will be the labors and type of service. Okay, that's decided by owners and managers as well, because due to the servicing differences, we will decide how many labels we need to hire. If you are fully service tables and restaurants, fully service restaurants, we will have more labels to do the service. But if you are the counter or self-serve restaurants, we don't need to hire that much of labors. So labor cost is we need to concern about it. And in the I mean, in Taiwan, the small and the medium restaurants, the labor cost probably average take occupied about 30 to 50 percentage of all of the cost. And finally, purchasing department still need to buy some fixed uh, equipment. It's not for count for the daily running, but we needed us to run our business, and it will deduct the life cycles, maybe 10 years or 5 years. So um, equipment, storage space, and the layout of facilities, that will be the need, and that will be influence the purchasing decision as well. Because good tools makes good works, right? Next ones, we concern about the survey of the price. So purchasing stuff, they need to mean to obtaining price quotes. How and how many ways? Okay, you can telephone, or you can check on the internet, or even you can use the emails to get your quotations sheet from your supplier. Even you can survey from internet market, and yeah, talk with someone else. That will quite important as well. You will get wider information. And the second one, yes, if you already asking and acquired your supplier to send you quotation sheet by mail or online, maybe every week, or especially for the food. I mean the previewable food, that probably by weeks, but some of the suppliers will give the quotation sheets is about by months. So it depends what is your requirement. And the third, um, most of the purchasing staff, they they will need to have very good relationship with the suppliers, so they can get more information by salespersons. Of course, you also can just directly get a link with your computer and see what is opening markets doing, and maybe go to the market to take a run. That will be more correctly priced. Since you start to buy food or purchase raw ingredient or materials in Taiwan's safety food standards, you need to recognize there's some of the marks or ambers and standard you need to know, and most of the farm and the purchaser also need to obey these regulations. Alright, so the first one is this red one named CAS. On the top, that is the circle. Circle is the wrong one, okay? And on the top, CAS is in the middle, and on the top is right Chinese characters. Taiwan 优良食品. And there's the numbers at the buttons. So it's different kind of characters of food and use different kind of certain certain numbers on the top. And the left-hand side, that is especially for the meat and particular. Actually, CAS is starts from the meat, and starts from the pork, especially. Taiwanese people eat a lot of pork products, as we just mentioned it as 卤肉饭. Okay, so that one is also the meat. So the left hand side, you will say, okay, this one is qualified. So the purchaser is follow the legislations of ROCs. They prove they got the officially approve how they purchase their pig, or you can say the pork, is very hygiene and safety food, so you don't need to worry about that. Alright, so that is from the beginnings CAS since 1989, and that is three very good concepts to hold from Taiwanese government. The first one is fine food, second one is safety food, and the quality food is third one. So the standard of CAS is certified agricultural standards, and then is following to the organic food and also got a CAS to mark for. So if you buy the food, you will see the CAS on the top that food is good. Until the 2010 December, the category is not only the meat, is more than 15 products. So for example, they got meat, eggs, veggies, and also a frozen food, and so on. So it's 15 or 16 categories. Okay, and the next one will be the GAP. GAP is not, this mark is not exist at the moment now, but it's quite important to has the histories and intend to the TAP. So I need to just mention it very quickly. It since from the 1994 July 1st until the 2019 June 15th. So it just finished their life last year's. Okay, so it's just to examine every farm, every vegetable from the farms, how they plant the vegetable, and how much pesticide they give to the vegetable, and is that qualified or is that too much? Is that too much? You cannot put it on the market. So that is government to save all of the citizens how they have the fine food to eat. And because that is only just for the vegetable and fruit, so it's not like CAS that wider, then it's not so direct to the as the TAP. That's why it's just end of that. And a lot of people is doubt about their examination is not so fair. So that is GAP is finished. So you can see GAP is 3 circles and with 2 leaves on the top, and also write Taiwan 安全蔬果. So definitely is for the fruit and vegetables. And there's got numbers same as the CAS in the below. And the final ones, actually from the last from the introduction chapters I just mentioned is the TAP. Do you remember the Kiwi films? Also, I mentioned the most burgers. They got the traceable agricultural products. These ones. Okay, so is from early of this century. It's about 2000, 2003. Taiwanese government already recognized it, but till immature, and the market's organs refers is from 2012, and also 2015 is quite material, and now is total replace the GAP just last year's. So TAP is replace the TAP is replaced the GAPs already. So what is GAP about? What does it works? So GAP is Taiwan Good Agriculture Practice, especially for hygiene and sustainability. And you can see that is transparencies from the farms, so you will assess the farming records online, and is transaccessibilities, just as I mentioned, from farm to tables. And then there's had the third party certificate. So it's not just exams by Taiwanese government. It got the third party to get the certificate. So it's much faithful. And also you need to have the sampling and the testing by the competent authorities. So that is that. That is how it works. And if you want to know more details, you can go to their website to have it. So you just type TAPs, you can find out what they are, who they are, and what they did. And of course, you will see a lot of vegetables got the TAPs stickers on. I believe you already knows the food safety standards in Taiwan, that for marks. And shall we just scan this QR code and enjoy these 30 seconds films at the same time, and we discuss it together. Give you 5 seconds to scan it. Alright, are you ready? Okay, so there's, as I just mentioned, there's the first pictures on the top, that is the CAS. For the pork, that is the frozen pork pack. So you can buy it from the supermarket, and that is the one is got a TAP. TAP for the eggs. That is a small box of eggs, and that is the TAP on the top of the eggs, and tells you you got a QR code and you knows where your farm is and how it comes from. And also that is the spring onions, and also the other one is the corns. So all of that on the top, they got the TAPs, as I just mentioned. Okay, so this one is especially for the milk, for the dairy products milk. Okay, that is of course is a milk. You will look at these stickers on the top of your milk if you buy one. Alright, if that is right, English alphabet, that is for the winter's product. If that is right, the Taiwan's purple month is for the summers, and then the rest of the number will be changed every years, and that is 946 male. That is for the balance. So it's got a lot of kind. Alright, and also there's there's a cows on the top, and right the for the 行政院, okay, agriculture's yen. Okay, so that's for the. Since you know how to recognize the food safety standards in Taiwan marks, CAS, TAP, and also the milk cow, then you need to know if you are the purchasers. That's to classify your food before you order. There's two different kind of classify. First one is perishables. The other one is, on the other hand, that is the non-perishables. Perishables means the food is going to bad quickly, so you need to buy them frequently to ensure their freshness, such as the fruit, vegetable, fresh fish, shellfish, fresh meat, poultry, and also the dairy products as milk, yogurts, and cheese. So that is for the small restaurant will usually do, small medium restaurant they usually do, especially for the individual one. But for the franchise ones, they got whole group, so they need to cost their price downs, and also they would like to deliver all of the pack to different branch, so they usually use the frozen foods such as frozen vegetable, fish, meat products, and also they just ensures they want to keep their food got longer lifespan, and also they they their branch doesn't used to order that so frequently, and they have their storage into the frozen. Okay, and let's talk about the non-perishables. That is the dry goods such as the flour, rice, nuts, or cereals, Chinese mushrooms, and miscellaneous items such as the olive oil, pickle, soy sauce, vinegar. So in this case, you need to order all of them in weekly or monthly basis. So don't buy the, you know, that is just remind you. Always keep this in mind just because they got a longer life. So you need to buy a lot, and also you want to keep the cost down. No, that is not a good idea. Don't buy too much quantities for your storage. As long as if you got the huge storage, you still need to count that is all the inventories is equals the dollars amount you need to save. So if you put too much into your inventory, which means you keep that much of the money or cash in your storage. That is not good. You need to make your money flow. That would be the better way to run your business. And also you need to ensure that your food fresh enough. So do remember, don't buy quantities larger than you need. In this slideshows, we base on the food gas their life. Okay, food easier to get bad if the bacteria multiplies. So this slideshow we talk about the bacterial contamination. Alright, so have you heard about food poisoning? Actually, in just this month, one of the Taiwan very famous hotels, their buffet restaurants, they got at least 100, I think 166 people got sick of the food poison. Okay, what's the food poison is? Food poison is the illness that you get eating the condiment food. So food get back. So you got the symptoms such as the vomiting, fever, unbearable pain, and also the diarrhea hormone, so and extras. And if the restaurant got the food poisoned, you should nearly close. Sometimes the food poison caused by chemical or mental, or some of them is bacterial, and also the poison planet, such as the um, presto or some berries. Alright, let's talk about the bacterial. Okay, have you look at these two pictures, potatoes and the tangerine? Alright, so this two is getting bad. So you see there's the mold on it, and sometimes it's the yeast on it. But yeast is good one. Okay, I will tell you later on. Then some bacterial. So what is bacterial? You will see bacterial is the milky things. You usually cannot see through your eyes. You need to have the powerful microscope to see it. But the bacteria have good ones, just the useful ones, which to make you some food as well, like yogurt or cheese. In Taiwan, you got the stinky tofu. You also need have the yeast or bacteria to make it. And that is for the digestive food as well. And bacteria will make your food spoilage. So there's 2 or 3 kind of bacteria. So rotting by the bacteria can lead to food spoils as food goes bad, just like the pictures that you showed you. And also, you will see the other is there's small number of millions of different bacteria around us, and they are harmful, and they called pathogenic bacteria. They will cause the food poisonings. Okay, so the bacteria multiplies due to the first things they need to have the protein food, and then the temperatures will force it, and the moistures, and also the time. So how long the times? Okay, we will discuss that in our storage that part, but I gave you very short brief concept about this. If your temperatures is between 4 to 60s, that is called the danger zone. Bacteria always grows in these temperatures. The room temperatures is normally, especially in Taiwan, okay, normally is around 36, no, under 36 to maybe 5, or okay, that is for the winter is 5, but normally probably is 24 and 18, something like that. That is the average temperatures in room temperature. Right, from now on, we will discuss what's the foods like. And if you go to the market and what kind of food you need to buy, and we will follow step by step and tell you how to make your own restaurant's product standards. Okay, we follow this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. The first one is the meat, and second one is the poultry and egg, and the seafood like fish or shell, and milk or dairy products, and the fresh fruit and or vegetables. Of course, you need to have these marks on. That's the good food. Right. The first one, fresh meat. We talk about the pork, beef, and lamb. Alright, so since you know CAS is quite important, and you look at the right hand side this bowl. Inside that they got ma you zhu, okay? So it's used the gingers and the sesame oils with quite a lot Chinese medicines and herbs. That is the dry food as well. And it is just cooked as a soup, and it makes you, especially in winter, your body is warm, so you won't get cold by that, and it's quite good for the mommy after they give birth for the baby. So that is the nutritious food for a lot of peoples, especially in winters, and also the mommy. All right, so we we can have a look. All of the meat, they got a grant on the basis of quality. So you need to choose the part of the meat. So different part of meat got different grant. And also, okay, for example, Taiwanese would like to eat pork a lot. So if you want to grind it, they got every farm they have uh, their food to feed their pig. So even though you got the different kind of pig and they got different grant as well. So some of the farm they even just mark all of the pigs as listening to the pathogens, or even they are in the air conditioned uh, temperatures. And also some of them they got to eat feed them very healthy food and etc. So they got different grant. And you got the different part of the meat, and also the cut shape are different. So all of restaurant could requires the size of the meat and how to cut them and which part of meat you want, especially by the chef of purchasing departments, and try to make it a standards. Okay, for example, this is Dongpo roll. So you need to order it from the belly. I mean the pork, belly pork, so that it got the 3 layers. It's fake, but it's nice. It tastes so nice. And you need to rub it like that, like a box. So that is very classifies the Taiwanese pork dishes. And sometimes all of the meat you need to frozen it or the vacuum pack to extend their life and could get their life longer. So from the left hand side, I'm sorry, right hand side bowl, that is slice. I mean, you need to have the slice of pig just like these pictures. And some of them they got the semi products as the bacon, and you need to saute it first, and or some of them is smoke it first. Alright, so that is how the meat goes. And we also got the sausage, so it's made by different ways. We just have enough with the pork. Shall we move on to the beef and the lamb? Right, beef, steak always be the best products for any restaurants. Chef well knows what kind of steak would like to present to their customers, how thick it is that neat with the bone or not. And while you look the bottom left, that is the lambs with the bone. So a lot of chefs would like to display their dishes with the bone to their customers. It seems much more luxury and also more fleshless. While you look the right hand side top, that is the mice meat. Of course, is the beef. So you can make the meatball, or you can make others of the food. So uh, that is the mice ones. Maybe you need to order from the vendor or suppliers if you don't have the machines to do it. But some of the restaurants chef would like to have just like left hand side button these photos. They want to surprise all of a whole part of the meat and send it to the restaurants, and they try to cut by machines, and how thin it is and how thick it is, he just can decide it by himself, not just the vendor or suppliers will cut for them. And also maybe he want to mince it as well. Right, so that is how specifications for the menu and for the restaurants. So purchaser would like to understand what your chef would knows and try to communicate with your suppliers and what kind of products you need to orders from the beginnings. Shall we continue with poultry and eggs? Poultry, as we know, is two layers of animals such as chicken, ducks, and goose. Yes, chickens in Taiwan, we always purchase that for whole or half or quarter, so that is amount, and as well as duck and goose as well. And then we will choose the part. So if you want the bonus, of course the breast is the bonus, but leg, wings, and the drumstick or things, they all got the bones inside. And in Taiwan, we have the white colors of chickens and also black bone chickens as well. Alright, such as ducks is the same and goose the same. And then we have the eggs. Eggs are graded by size such as small, mediums, and large. Of course, the price is different as well. Especially for the breakfast restaurants or breakfast shop, they always purchase lots of eggs every day. So they always get like 30 dozens in a case or even more. But for the family or for the households, if you go to the supermarkets, you can choose 10 in a case or in a pack or even a dozen in a pack. So it depends on you. Right. Even those Taiwan's egg got different kind of color. Some of them they got the white colors and yellow and also got green one as well. Okay, so as you can see, there's the deep fry. I think that's wing and legs. So it's deep fried chickens. So obviously, it's got the bones on it. And have seen that is quite famous Taiwan street food, 咸酥鸡, deep fried chickens. It well-known street food in Taiwan as deep fried diced chickens. You can always choose other ingredients to get deep fried and chop up with them together or mix like fried garlic, basil, or maybe broccoli, green beans, and extras. Well, believe me, that is so juicy and yummy that you will love it, and you will never forget you tasted that in Taiwan, and you can eat for a bag and walk around and even look at TV or film. That is so delicious snacks. It was you to taste it. I hope you have a chance to come to Taiwan to test this delicious food. Wow, how excited! Seafood. Do you love seafood? Taiwan is an island all around the ocean, just right by Pacific. Therefore, most of Taiwanese like to eat seafood very much. Due to the geography aspect, we have very rich nature fish farm just nearby, and that's why we could have deep ocean fish, very good quality and expensive one. Taiwan also proud of our good aquaculture fishing skills. Especially in the southern of Taiwan, we could catch very expensive tunas in Donggang port named Heiwei Yu in summertime, and Muller rule as Wu Yuzi in the wintertime. On the other hand, we also produce very good qualities but not so expensive as milkfish named Shimuyu. That's a lot of country export from us and very impressive how good qualities we produce. As the purchasers, you need to recognize lots of fish and the shellfish, not only just the name, and also the shape and the grain as well. Of course, the most important will be the freshness. You could see through from the fish eyes and scales strong enough, or are they still jumping up and down from the water? That is for the freshness. Okay, shall we look back our photos on the top? Have you started to swallow your mouth water yet? It looks so yummy, right? Okay, the first one will be the crab. There are 3 spots of crab on the top, but you still can find 2 spots and also non-spot of the crab just around Taiwan seashore. But they all taste different image, right? And second one will be the oyster. Okay, this one is not wild alive, but it's just they grows up from the fish farm by the west side of Taiwan. And the last one will be the squirrel. Yes, this one is not so big because it just made for the appetizer as the salad dishes. So we don't need the big sizes. But if you want to make the main course, yes, big size will be needed and necessary. Right, most significant purchasings for seafood should be freshness. Lots of people eat seafood get allergy. Yes, they get allergy by their nature, but not for every single individual. But if your seafood purchase is not fresh enough, then your customer will get sick very easily and also get food poisoned. That your restaurant will get in trouble. Secondly, fresh fish and shellfish specifications. The purchaser will order fish or shellfish from the fisher, suppliers, or vendor. And they will ask they require to be the whole. If to be the whole, your chef or your kitchen staff must kill the fish and smells the fish bad smells. But you also could requires that fish to be drawn, which is remove the entails already for the chef. That is save their time for preparing. Or you can ask for the dressed. Dressed, which means clean all of the things and remove in trail, but with the head on. Of course, you also can ask the fisher or suppliers cut the head off and also cut the fish in the trunk shape or steaks and fillets. How thick the steak is or fillets it is, how big it is, the size you also could request from your fisher or the suppliers. Well, let's focus on the shellfish. Alright, some of the fish you will ask for the skin on or skin off, even the boneless or bone on. For the shell, you will ask for the shells on or shell out or shell off. For example, king prawns. Most of the restaurants will show how luxury their dishes is. So they wish their prawns with the shell on and the size is big or huge. As well as like the lobsters. But if you only want to make the king prawn fried rice, of course you want to save some time, so you only purchase the prawn without the shell, and someone will prepare that for you, so you don't need to take off the shells by yourself. The preparing time will be saved. But that is one thing need to remind, which is the ISO the rate. Okay, if the ISO rate is too much, so the quality won't be so good, which means maybe your prom has been thick inside the water, then go to the fridge or frozen. Then your prom won't be so sweet. Alright, let's talk about the freshness. If you want to keep the fish or shellfish fresh, chill it and frozen will be necessary. Frozen will under minus 18 degrees. And you really hope it from the fisher or just ocean or waters direct to your restaurants. But you need to count the transportation time, and also you need to count the killing fish time if you want to. And some of the seafood also cover a lot of ice. So that is try to keep them fresh. Then you need to specific your grade of your fish or shellfish as well. And this help you to ensure every time's delivery to your restaurants will be the same quality and same standard. In this case, probably vacuum package also required from purchasing staffs from their fisher or their suppliers or vendor. So beware the rate of cover of ice. No matter it's on the shell or on the fish, is also counted. Don't let your supplier cheat on you. Okay, if you want to, the final things I want to remind you is if you take the share off products, probably your price will be a little bit higher, or even the raw or dressed fishes. Okay, let's finish today's lessons. Hope you enjoy it.